cultural differences.
Are you expected to financially support a family too?
Well, I'm gonna go with the one that won't get me in trouble. I wish I would have known if you ran out of money, that's it, you're on your own.
Before we start today's video, I'm excited to tell you about a brand new channel I launched where I react to the most popular and interesting videos about the Philippines. There's lots of content out there, so this is my way of expressing my reaction to those videos. If you want to see those, go ahead and check out the link down below and be one of the first supporters and subscribers to Reacting Abroad. Now let's go ahead and sit down with today's guest. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Reggie,
Reggie, where are you from?
Columbus, Ohio.
What brings you down here to the Philippines?
Oh man, you know, nice weather, nice people, you know. It's a lot of things that you can do, and everything seems a little bit more friendlier, so yeah.
Okay. How long have you been here?
I've been here for about a year.
A year? That's a long time.
Yeah.
You plan on going back to the U.S. or you think I'd make this your home?
Yeah, I plan on going back because the U.S. is my home, of course. But, you know, I could see this being long term, you know, maybe later on in life. Right now, it's just a little too early, but, you know, it's definitely a good place to stay for a couple months or maybe a year if you want to, if you're of younger generation.
Yeah,
you know?
honestly, I can't tell if you're in your 20s or in your 40s. You know, brothers never. I don't understand. How old are you? How do you finance yourself? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, nobody ever gets the age right. I'm gonna let you guess. How old do you think
honestly,
I am?
Anywhere from 21 to 41. As I have
21
no idea.
to 41. Oh my God. Well, I mean, that's definitely within the range.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a big range.
35.
Okay.
And I think you asked another question. You said,
Yeah, I was
what
gonna say, how do you support yourself for a year? It's a long time, you know.
Oh, I'm self-employed.
Okay.
So I just do things for myself, and you know, it's easy and it's hard. You got to find the motivation to get up every morning and do it, but it's definitely rewarding at the end of the day to be your own boss and know exactly where everything's gonna go. So it's great.
Now you mentioned a whole bunch of good stuff. Are there some things that can be better or improved?
But like here in the Philippines?
Yeah, Philippines life. You've been here for a year. A lot of positives. What's like the most annoying thing or something that could be improved?
Well, I'm gonna go with the one that won't get me in trouble. So the traffic situation can definitely be improved. I think that a lot of the traffic issues come from the fact that there's not proper traffic controllers. Yeah, they have traffic enforcers, but I'm talking like automated, like we have in other countries where it's stoplights, signs, things like that.
Roundabouts, or
yeah, because I don't know if you ever rode a motorcycle out here, but there is nothing out here that informs you as to where you're going, what you're doing. You just got to know.
Yeah.
And that can be very dangerous. Lack of accessibility for people that are handicapped. I mean, not to kind of go on that, but there's really not a whole lot of ways that someone that is less capable than we are to get around. You know, I mean, it's just nothing for that.
Sidewalks and
yeah, the sidewalks are very dangerous. Other than that, that's pretty much the only thing I can complain about right now.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you have a drink because I have a question that might be a bit personal. But what's like dating life? Are you seeing people? Are you married? Tell me about your relationship.
I'm not married. I do have a girlfriend. It's good, and it also has its challenges. It's mainly due to cultural differences. So as a foreigner, you have to be more patient, but you also have to try to coach. If you're dating a Filipino, you have to kind of coach them into being patient as well, because there's a lot of things that are parallel. Like, I'm gonna think something, she's gonna think something, but we may think it's normal and they're gonna be like, what the heck are you talking about? So you have to be able to be patient enough to explain that and let them know that they have to have patience as well. And that's gonna be the hard part. Because once you're self-aware, the other person's not gonna be self-aware of what they're doing, even if you point it out. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the one challenge I can say. But other than that, it's very easy to talk to someone. You just have to open your mouth. Don't be shy. Yeah. As long as you're not shy, women seem to be pretty nice. So you just have to be outgoing, open your mouth. Don't expect everybody to come to you, but instead you go to them.
Got it. Now, how long you been with your girl?
It's been about like maybe. Oh, wow, I lost count. Like a year or so. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Now, as a foreigner, as a businessman, are you expected to financially support a family too?
It depends on the expectations. So typically what I find is if your partner has their own job or their own thing, they don't expect that much. But traditionally it is expected that the man does support the household and things like that, even if there's not like a whole household yet. It's just you're dating, they expect you to kind of support things. But when it comes down to growing into a family and actually getting married, that's a little different. Then it turns into, okay, well, support our immediate family, and then, you know, maybe support the extended family too. It can be a little tricky. It all depends on how much you can spare, if you can actually do it. But I say to guys that do end up getting married, I'm like, hey, look, you know, do what you can. Don't try to be the hero, because if you do, you're going to overextend yourself and it's going to be way too much more.
Yeah. I mean, naturally, if you love the person, you want to support and help.
Right.
Before you know it, you know, you got drained if you're not careful.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
absolutely. And that's something that you also have to be cautious of, because, you know, they have their family system here, but you don't. If you run out of money, that's it. You're on your own. Like, nobody's going to really try to save you. One harsh reality I should make known is that there are quite a bit of homeless expats just roaming around, and they can't go back home. They cannot do anything they need to do for themselves, and they're stuck here. And the government and no one does anything to help them. So you need to be prepared and have backup. Have a reserve amount of money for yourself, just in case something goes wrong, or have a backup plan, or have at least enough for a ticket to go back home if you need to, because things can get pretty rough pretty quickly, and there's no assistance. So keep that in mind.
Definitely. I mean, I've had a homeless gentleman on my channel. I try to help out as well. So, and I was in search of another one the other day because somebody sent me an email saying this guy needs some help.
Yeah.
So I get it. And lastly, any advice for someone that's never been here, whether they're coming from a relationship or to retire, anything that you think you wish you would have known before coming here?
I wish I would have known how deep of a culture shock it would be. Because when you get off the plane at first, you're extremely naive. You're super happy. Everything seems cool. Oh, wow, I'm so happy to be here. Everyone's so nice. But as you start chipping away at the individual aspects of the Philippines, which you will if you stay for any extended period of time, you start to realize that there's polarizing differences between Western culture and Asian culture. That's just period. Doesn't matter if you're here, South Korea, Japan, doesn't matter. But the thing that you have to keep in mind, like I said in the beginning, you have to be patient, because it's going to hit you all at once. It's not going to be patient, but once you understand what's going on, you're like, okay, I know how to navigate. And it will lead to frustrations. I've been frustrated. And, you know, speaking more specifically on dating, you know, because that expectation we have in the West versus what they're wanting here, you're going to go into a situation and think, okay, well, why did they expect me to do that?
Yeah.
And they're going to just be like, well, this is exactly how our men do it. Why don't you do it this way? Cultures, most of the time, they don't want to compromise with each other. It's just like, okay, learn my culture. Okay, learn my culture. And we're guilty of it as well. But that's the one thing I wish I knew more about or was better prepared for. But other than that, it's been a fantastic time here. It really has been. The weather's great all the time. I haven't worn a jacket in a while.
I know, right?
You know,
That's one of my
shorts
favorite
and
things.
t-shirt, which is great. And I really like the fact that if you need to decompress or just relax, there is a beach very close.
Yeah.
There is a resort very close. A wonderful trip is like maybe 45 minutes to an hour away,
Yeah.
no matter where you are. And that you can't get in the States. You just can't.
I agree. Same with Toronto, man. If you want to go somewhere, you got to plan it out like a couple days at least.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I was going to end the interview, but you're really well spoken, and I don't want to highlight this or make this the main
No, you're
point.
fine, man.
But as a black guy, obviously, do you face racism here? Because I know a lot of people have mixed answers, and you know, how do you deal with that if you've had any bad, good experiences or anything?
Wow, you know, it's funny. I have another friend, and he's also a black guy, and we talk a lot about that because it is absolutely 100% real. I hear a lot about in the States where they're saying there's racism, there's this, there's that, but
Yeah.
Asia says, hold my beer. Okay, like
Okay.
it's like, are you serious? No, hold on, I'll show you. but it's different. I have to be very clear about it. It's a very different type of racism. It's not from a place of hate. It's from a place of lack of understanding and what they see on TV and the things that are portrayed in the media. So rather than finding out for themselves, hey, black people actually aren't gangbangers and doing riots and their girls shake their booties and things like that, rather than looking into that deeper, they're like, oh, well, that's what's on TV, so you must be like that.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of times where if I talk to Filipinas and Filipinos, you know, just candidly, like I'm talking to you, they're like, well, you're not like them.
Yeah.
Like why are you not like them? And it's like, because not everything is like what you see on TV, because the inverse, do you know that when the Philippines is referred on TV, it's scam heaven, or, oh, hey, it's raining all the time and everybody's poor, they live in huts. I can't tell you how many times somebody was surprised that I told them that there was an Apple store here. And I'm like, yes. And that's not fair, because the Philippines is actually pretty well developed and they have a pretty decent economy going on. Even though it is unequal, I mean, but what economy isn't, you know, equal right now? None of them are. But, you know, to varying degrees. I mean, sometimes I feel like there's more rich than there are poor here. Or should I say, the rich have more than what the poor have, because there's more poor than rich. But I think that my friend put it this way. He says that, you know, we can go one Filipino at a time and try to improve the image. In some points I do agree with him, but in other points I feel like it's a moot point, because yeah, I could go and change the mind of one Filipino, but then there's 10,000 more that disagree. Yeah. You know, or there's like, you know, an entire population that has like one mindset. I think that a lot of I think some of the racism also stems from cultural self-hate. What I mean by that is like the colonization of the Spaniards coming here, it's breeding, mixing with Filipinos, and the image has been forever screwed up because the Spanish, as they refer to themselves out here, is, oh wow, that's the pretty one, the mestizas. They're like, wow, she's mestiza, she's beautiful, she's light. So we have this culture that doesn't love their own self, when really, and I don't know if you've ever seen, but like native Filipinos or native Filipinos, they're some of the most beautiful people you ever see on this planet.
It's like we want the tan skin, but they want the be light skin.
They're beautiful, like striking. If they put them into Miss Universe, they would win and crush it every single time. But instead, what's valued out here is, okay, well, are you like mestiza? Are you like, you know, part Spanish? Or, you know, are you half German? Are you half like, you know, anything white? Yeah. And that's just kind of the sad reality of it, is that it's almost like it's a people that have an identity, but they refuse to appreciate it and love it because they can't see the value within themselves. So there is Pinoy pride, but there is also, how can I say this without sounding horrible? There's also Pinoy shame.
And that's it for this video, guys. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of Reggie's experience in the Philippines. Some things you agree with, disagree with, anything that surprised you. I'm sweating as always, so if you take your time to write it, I take time to respond. Now, whoever comes to the Philippines is gonna have a very different experience from anybody else. Of course, it depends on yourself, why you're here, who you meet, the people you interact with, the places you go visit, your budget, a whole bunch of stuff. But that's why I make these videos, to bring you actual raw content. And unfortunately, that video got cut off at the end, but because, you know, these are all spontaneous. I don't script these, I don't plan them out. Sometimes I come across some interesting people, so I sit down with them and the videos go a little bit longer than anticipated. So I ran out of some memory on my card, because that was supposed to be like a 1 or 2 minute interview. I'm gonna do much more content about the Philippines. As I mentioned at the beginning of of this video, check out my brand new channel called Reacting Abroad. The link is in the description down below. Be one of the first subscribers on the channel. And that's it for this one. If you found this video entertaining and informative, as always, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that like button, share the video, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next interview. Bye.